Hi guys, it's another Wisdom Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about integrating all of the Googled apps into your lesson plans. The first thing that you're going to need to do is pull up your Google Apps, which when you're on your home screen, this is the Google Apps button. It's a little square with dots inside. Click on that and you're going to be able to see all the different Google Apps that are available to you. So what I would suggest is scroll down until you see Google Classroom. When it pulls up, you can see all the classrooms that you already have created. If you have to create a new one, you just click the plus button and create class. Fill in everything based on what you want it to be. So say it's your English 2 classroom and it's period 4 and the subject is going to be global literature, and you put your room number on there, create. You get to give students your class code, and anybody with a Google Gmail account, including your students, can now go into the classroom with this code and join. You can also individually send out your invitations. And the reason I'm going over this brief thing about Google Classroom is because Google Classroom is the place to start when it comes to creating assignments for your lesson plans. So this is like the first place. Now, if I want to create classwork, I'll go here. Let's do an assignment today. Got it. The big thing here is you're gonna be able to use all the Google apps by attaching different Google app types to the assignment itself. So let's say they're going to explore African literature. You wanna add stuff from Google Drive, YouTube files. If you have links, you can add them all here, and then you'll put in your instructions based on what you want them to do. So let's say they're going to explore African literature and the literary terms. And they are also going to take a 360 tour of Africa. I've got both Google Docs and Google Slides. So maybe first explore the Google Slides, complete the activities, then as a group, complete the 360 tour of Africa, follow the instructions found in the Google Doc. Then create a Google map of a place in Africa that you want to learn more about. So now they've got their instructions. You are going to have them do this assignment. So we're going to say assign. Now you're incorporating Google Slides, Google Docs, and Google My Maps. I will show you how to do all of that right now. So they pull this up. It tells them to make a copy and type their name. So they'll go to File, Make a Copy, and we'll do entire presentation. We'll have them always know to put their name here so that when they turn it in, it has their name on the slides, and it's going to have it on the first slide as well. So now they have their own copy of the presentation, and this should become routine for them when you incorporate interactive slides. So then they're going to work through each slide. They'll read something. This one in particular, I have not created activities for yet, so it's all information, right? So let's say as a teacher, I want them to have a slide of activities after learning about oral tradition. So this is an example of a Google slide where they would look at the activity, and then they would highlight it and start typing their answers on the slide. The story I heard from my childhood over and over was the Three Little Pigs. And then they'll go into their explanation, and then they will continue working through slides and interact with them in that way. And then once it is time, they will go to this assignment and turn in the assignment by attaching stuff. So they've got their work here. They'll, as a teacher, you would return stuff if they haven't completed it. And then they would turn in their Google Slides here. So another thing that you could do is, instead of the My Maps instructions being in Google Classroom, you could literally have them do an activity where it's actually embedded into slideshow itself. So the way that you would do that is providing a link to Google Maps, My Maps specifically. So that's important, because if you don't do Google My Maps, then they are not going to be able to create their own. So create a new map. And then what they would do is, like, they'd look at Africa, maybe do some research and find out where trickster tales are found, and create a map that is based in a specific country in Africa, because Africa is a continent. You put in a link for them. What's nice is that you can edit this hyperlink and say, click here to go to My Maps. Apply. So then they click, they have to sign in, and then it takes them to the creating page. So once they are signed in, create a new map. Now, what you want them to do is, like, add a spot, right? So we're saying Africa, and we're going to add to map. And once it's added to the map, they can edit it. So they can, storytellers were found in this area. And then you click save, and then you can change the color of this pin. And then you can also add in photos or videos, and you can just have them search on Google for the images that they're looking for. So now you can select the image that will go along with it. So make sure you detail how many photos that you want and how much information you want them to do with captions. So for here, must include 3 photos and 3 regions. You must put in captions about the storytellers in that region based on what you learned from your research. So they share their maps, so make sure it's titled. So we'll do African storytellers. Save. Then to share the map itself, you're gonna click the share button over here on the left side, and they will either give you the link to their map or just type in your teacher email address right there. Now this is all something that they should learn how to do beforehand, but this gives you an idea of the things that you can use My Maps for, and the fact that you can embed links to it, put it into Google Slides. It's all intertwined, and it's another activity. that you're using another Google app for, which has a purpose and it is fun for them to do. It's creative, it's critical thinking, and they're learning what they want to learn about in some ways on their own by doing their own research and finding those places and talking about those people. Now I want you to see the 360 World Tour activity that has hyperlinks. So I could have put in a link to the African literature, the lit terms, and this lesson. So instead of attaching both the slides and the doc, I would just do the 360 tour and then put a link to the lit terms in here. So how I would do that is I would find the share, I would find the link, so we're gonna put link sharing on because that is something that you need, and allow external access will be what you need, copying that, and then it would be before you begin the assignment, complete the slides and activities. Then you put in the link, you edit the link always so that it doesn't have all of that mess of stuff. So it would be African literature interactive slides. Apply it, and now it's easy. They can just click there and it takes them now to this. They make their copy, they complete the activities, they do the mind maps, and now they go back and they complete this. The way that they complete this activity is they click here, and now they are in the panoramic Africa tour area. So they get to take a field trip to Africa. And so what happens when they click this link, unfortunately, is that they are gonna have to copy and paste their assigned place. And once they search for it, it'll pop up. So while this is loading, I'm going to explain that when you want groups to work on Google Docs all at once, you have the group leader make a copy, and instead of copy of, have them put their group number or their group name. And then once they have made the copy as leader, they share the document with each other. So they can just start typing each other's name into this, and then once they're able to do that, they share it with each member of their group. Then each member will get an email notification saying that it was shared, and now they each can type all at once. So the way that I have them type all at once at the same time is each person gives themselves a color, and then they type in the color for the that's designated to each person. So Jenny is pink, and then Ron is blue, and they make a key for who's who at the bottom. And having them create the key for who's who at the bottom helps not only them know who's typing, but it helps me as I'm reading. While I could look at the editing stuff and see, you know, who typed what, that's going to take a lot more time for me to do. And so I would just have them put their name in the color that they typed in, and then when I select it, then it'll show whether it was actually them, because if they're logged in to their account, it will show me when I put my mouse over it that it was in fact John or Ron or Jenny. Now that you have an idea of different ways that you could be incorporating Google Apps into the classroom, let me know if there's anything that I missed or you'd like more information on. I can definitely help out with any questions. This lesson on the 360 World Tours and the African literature slides are all on our Teachers Pay Teachers page. The link is in the description below. So I'm going to add the My Maps activity and the practice. I'm going to put some more activities after the slides because it's much more helpful for students to apply their knowledge right after they've learned it. So they'll read a slide and then do an activity. Read a slide, do an activity. And before I forget, when using the AirPano website, the students can explore any place. They just search the region, click on it, and then they're completing all of the cool activities as they go through and get to basically take a field trip to these places. And it's really, 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 really neat. They are legitimately in Nairobi. So pretty. I hope this video was so helpful about intertwining all those different Google apps from Google Suites into your lesson plans and how you can integrate them and make them interlock and make them all so cohesive. I hope it was helpful. If it wasn't, please comment below. If it was, also comment below. We need to hear from you. And for more for our educators and you want more of us, 1, subscribe to the channel. 2, check out chalkituptocrop.com. It is a blog for educators by educators, and we've got all kinds of tips and tricks on there for you guys. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next Wisdom Wednesday.